I didn't really learn giving from my parents. My dad grew up in very humble circumstances. He lost his father when he was quite young, just a boy. And growing up in the 50s and 60s, he was an only child. He helped my grandmother along and always had jobs and just helped cover expenses. And then when he went into the Army, he met my mom, who is from a war-torn third world country, and she grew up with mud floors and a thatch roof house. And so she came from even more humble beginnings, and she lost her father when she was a young girl. And so my parents always taught my brother and I that you work hard, you are honest at what you do, but you work really hard, study really hard, get a job, and what you have is yours. You earned it. No one gave it to you. They always taught my brother and I to work hard, but at the same time, they didn't have a generous attitude where we're going to donate a significant amount of funds to this activity or to church. It's not as if they were stingy and that they wouldn't give people in need money. That's not the case. And I certainly did see them help out some folks that were in need, but it wasn't this continual, prayerful week by week, month by month, every paycheck, we're going to make sure that we set aside some funds to give this away for the glory of God's ministry or for the assistance of people who need it. I grew up going to a small private Christian school where we were introduced to the Bible and Bible stories and flannel graph when I was a kid. And so I learned all these stories in the Old Testament, and I thought that's how everyone was educated. But, when I got to a public junior high school and public high school, that's certainly not the experience. And when you go off to college, you really kind of have to start asking the questions of, is the faith that I was introduced to in school, is the faith that I was introduced to in church when I was a child, is that truly what I believe? Money is one of the ways where you demonstrate some element of belief, because if you don't have any generosity, I think it was put to me in medical school that perhaps you're just simply giving lip service to your belief in God. And that was hard to hear, and that was really kind of the first time I heard that. And I had some tough conversations with people, but I went back to the Bible and read, and New Testament apostles, they got funds to live on so they can continue the ministry of Christ. In the Old Testament, that example of setting aside for the Lord was clearly evident and commanded. And so I thought, although my family has not done this in the past, I'm going to have to decide what my family is going to do. And so in medical school, I made the decision that, as I grow into an income, that income is going to be set aside for the Lord's work and to give to other people. No matter where you are in life, if you make a small income or you make a large income, I think it matters that you are giving out of kindness, out of love, out of responsibility, out of duty, because that's what God commanded us to do. And sometimes it's not easy. I'll be honest, it's not easy writing that check sometimes, but it's a continuous reminder of being faithful. Everybody has a want. Is it to drive a new car? Is it to have a vacation home? Is it to have this amazing vacation? Those dreams aren't bad. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. But when you're choosing to be generous or choosing to be responsible or choosing to be any of these things that are all wrapped up in one act, you have to understand that you're going to forego some of those earthly dreams and desires. Money is a source of power. It's a source of being able to do wise things and kind things and things that generate fruit for you and your family and your community. But it also gives you the power to do very foolish things. And so if you give and you give sacrificially, it always grounds you and it reminds you why you're here. You're not here for the glory of Barry Harris's kingdom. You're here for the glory of God's kingdom. And if giving prevents you from being able to do all the things that you necessarily want to do in this life, well, to some degree, that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to keep you humble and grounded and remember why you're here.